Hi everyone, and welcome once again back to my workshop. A few weeks ago you saw me build this new car, the Kyosho MP10 TKI2, an absolute state-of-the-art racing car. After I finished building that, I had a spare chassis on my hands. I don't actually need 3 IC cars, and I had my old original Kyosho Neo 2.0. This car, it'd been used as my backup car a couple of times, and I was stuck with what to do with it. Do I put it on eBay? It was too good to throw in the dustbin. Even though I'm a huge fan of Nitro racing cars, I wanted to have a go at doing an electric 1/8 buggy. I looked at various ways of converting this, and then one of the key components was the motor mounting bracket. I bought a cheap one from Banggood over in China, which said it was universal for the Inferno and a number of other 1/8 Nitro buggies to convert to electric, and it didn't fit. Even after a lot of machining, fettling and grinding, it still didn't fit, so I had to bite the bullet. Had a look online, and I came up with another Kyosho product. For 90 quid you can buy this Kyosho part, IFW 451. This is all the parts you need to convert a Kyosho IC buggy into an electric. It ranges in price from 90 quid up to 116. This one came in from Model Spot, I think it was about 90 something. And it's all the parts you need to convert an IC buggy to electric. First thing I've got to do is to strip everything out of this buggy. It's already had its engine out. I've got to take the fuel tank out. I've got to take all the battery trays out, all the radio gear out and everything, and literally strip it back to a bare shell. But before I do so, let's open this bag up properly. Let's go through it and let's see what's inside it. So that stripped absolutely everything off of the old Neo 2.0 chassis. It's back to a bare roller. I've left the steering linkage in there for now. I'm going to give this a good clean up with some brake cleaner. All the parts that came off of it, there's engine mounts, those dog bones all need to go back in there. All the old braking components, the front end of the diff will go in there. All the braking cams, I can use these as spares on my Neo 3.0 if I need to. I'll give this thing a good clean up with some brake cleaner, and then I'll start building it up and converting it into an electric buggy. So this is the brushless conversion set. It's a Kyosho part, genuine Kyosho part, IFW 451. In it are some instructions, some rather detailed instructions by the look of it, and what looks like a bag of parts. Let's quickly open the back up and see what's in here. So we've got what looks like plate probably sits on top of the differential. We've got some new battery tray parts and a new servo holder. That'll be the on-off switch. Not sure what that is. No doubt that'll be in the instructions. That's going to be where the front servo bolts in. This kit's supposed to be universal, and you should be able to convert any Kyosho Inferno with this kit. But I think it's going to be a case of mix and match, because my Inferno Neo 2.0 is quite an old model now. So there's some plastic parts. We've got some battery retraining straps for when we get the battery in there. I wouldn't want to run the car. This battery is okay to test the car with. It's a 4S Turnigy 3.0. It's a very, very low C rating. It'll power the car, albeit not for long, but it's ideal for testing motor throws and setting up electronic speed controllers, etc. I'll use that later on when I finish doing the conversion. I'll test the car for the first time. This looks like the radio tray. Oh, sorry, the battery. This looks like the battery tray. Not sure what goes in there. No doubt we'll find out. Again, this is quite a small battery. It's only rated at 3,000 milliamps per hour, and usually I'd use a battery twice as powerful as that. But there's ample room in there to get a bigger battery in there, which is fantastic. This is the piece de resistance. This is probably, out of all the parts in the kit, this is the most expensive one to buy. A lump of machined aluminium which goes on front of the diff. That's the old differential that's coming out of the car, so this will bolt onto there somehow. That'll go in there, and it's interesting that there is an offset on there between the top screws, and I think That part there is replaced with this plastic part. Again, this, I don't know why Kyosho do this. This kit is about 114 quid to buy if you buy it in the shops. That should be made of carbon fibre. Come on, Kyosho, get your act together. Also in there's some bags and some screws. Also there's a pinion gear in there. That is going to be really, really useful, because I didn't know what pitch or number of teeth to go on there. That'll come in very useful. There's some brand new screws in there. Be interesting. When I built the MP10 TKI2 the other week, none of the screws had been through a degreasing bath. I had like black fingertips at the end of building it. I'd really hope that these kits have been put in some degreaser to clean them up prior to packaging, but then again, I dealt with they are. There's some more screws there. Yet a further bag of screws here. And finally, we have the instruction manual. It says what some batteries and some ESCs. You'll need tools. I've got all of that. There's a number of bits on there. Interesting that they put some steering parts in there, but okay, that's good. Manual all looks the usual Kyosho stuff, very, very top end here. Here's what's doing, how the battery straps go together. Okay. Right, without further ado, let's get the chassis together and start bolting all of this up. So this is section 1 of the manual built up, where you build up the battery tray. There's a couple of M3x8 screws there. There's another one in there and another one underneath, which holds the under tray together. Just flip it over. That part is in there as well. That's an optional part depending on what type of buggy you're converting. I don't know what mine is, so I just put it in there for the time being. It might have to come out. Just got my placebo Turnigy battery in there. Again, I could get a battery much bigger than that in there. That's a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. I'll eventually probably be running a 7 or an 8 in there. Loads of room in there. That battery's almost too small. I just wanted to put it in there to make sure that everything fits okay and the straps are going in. This is a very, very straightforward part of the manual to put together. Only key thing here is to get the battery straps in the right way around so that they can go in and they can lock the battery down. That's got that piece settled out. Onto page 2. So that's got the radio tray mounted in the car. Everything goes together really, really well. Again, apologies for the camera shake. This is where a really, really interesting part of this conversion comes in. If you just flip the chassis over, that's where the engine mount used to go, and that's where the engine width adjustment screws used to go in, and that all fits in there nicely, and those mould into there really, really well, and it stops the tray from sliding around. Next phase I've got to do is to build the radio tray, which is again looks a pretty straightforward job. It's going to sit down in here. The motor will sit in there. I've then got to start building the bits up to mount the diff and the engine mount in there, and I'll do that now. So let's have a quick look at the electronic speed controller and motor combination that I bought. It's an Easy Run by Hobbywing. It's got some Schumacher branding on it. I bought this from Model Sport. Again, I think it's about 150 quid. There's even a programming card in there. It consists of these two parts. Let's just unwrap them. A few instructions in there. So we've got the Easy Run 4274 brushless motor. That's 22,000 kilovolts. That's ideal. Very, very important here. This is sensorless. I'm mainly going to race this car at the Gatwick Raceway, and you're only allowed to use up to a 22,000 kilowatt motor with 4 S cells, which is what I'm going to use. You're also not allowed to use the sensor on it either. On a sensor motor, there'd be a little connector there that your sensor would go into. Not allowed to use censored motors there, so that's ideal. Also included in the box was this Easy Run Max 8 speed controller. There's a programming card thrown in as well. On-off switch. Just got to get all of that mounted. It's got all of its connectors on it already. The only thing that isn't fitted on it is the connector for the battery, so I'm going to fit an easy one to that. Let's just get the soldering iron out and let's get moving. So in true Blue Peter fashion, here's one I prepared earlier. Everything's mounted in there now. I was just giving it a bit of a test run outside. Got the electronic speed controllers mounted there. We've got the motor mounted in there. That was absolutely fine. Not sure how long that plastic spur gear is going to last. All the radio gears mounted in, the radio trays mounted up. Included in the kit was a 12-tooth pinion, that's ready to go. There were some new steering linkages as well, but I managed to get the other one to fit perfectly. There's no point in spending hours building something up if you don't need it. Got the aerial in there. There's the other part of the aerial of the antenna wire. Nice EC1 connector fitted to go on the battery. I bought some 4S batteries. These are called Centro batteries. Again, I think this is about 85 quid. Bought a couple of those ready to go in the car. Should fit in the tray nicely. If I just move the camera down a little bit, so I'll just put some Velcro on there that will go in between the car and the body shell, just to stop that moving around. It's got the body clips on it as well. Everything on here is looking quite good. There's a meeting at the Gatwick Raceway this coming Sunday, the 7th of June. I think I'm going to load the car up. I think I'll load the car up, head down there on the Sunday morning and see how the car handles.
2, 3, 1, 4, 5.
So the new car made its debut today, Sunday the 7th of June, over at the Gatwick Raceway in Sussex, literally in the shadow of Gatwick Airport. Interesting meeting and an interesting circuit. The circuit was literally just a grass field with some tubes laid on it, the way racing used to be many, many years ago. And that worked absolutely brilliantly. It's dead flat surface. There's some ramps on there which are optional if you want to go over them or not. I put the springs on and put the same suspension up I'd run on my original Neo 3.0. Again, I've got the front roll bar here. I've got the blue springs at the front, blue springs at the back, and an anti-roll bar. How did the car handle? Basically, it handled like a stuck pig. It had so much punch in its acceleration. It was like driving an absolute wildcat, but it lacked speed down the main straight. For the next meeting, I'm going to turn the punch down on the electronic speed controller. It was set at the midpoint level. It was on level 3 of 5. So for the next meeting, which will be on Sunday, June the 27th, 2021, I'm going to turn the punch down, so which should calm it down coming out of corners. Also, the kit pinion was only a 12 tooth. I'm going to go up to a 14 tooth, possibly even a 15. The pinions aren't very expensive at all. I'm going to put a 15 tooth pinion on there. The next meeting coming up there is on Sunday the 27th of June 2021. Weather permitting, hopefully we've had a lot of rain over the last week or so in Britain. It's today as I'm filming this is the 21st of June. It's the longest day. It's absolutely chucking it down. I should have been going to a model flying Solstice fly-in tonight. That's been cancelled already. That was cancelled early this morning. Hopefully the weather will be kind to us over the next few days. The field will dry out and we'll be able to get some racing done. Tyres on there at the moment. I would usually put mini spikes on there. That's got mini pins. That's got AstroTurf tyres on there. They're just on there for some experimenting I was doing. But yeah, let's take the car back to Gatwick on Sunday the 27th of June. Fire her up again, take her out and see how she handles from there. I did indeed race this buggy last Sunday at the Gatwick Raceway, and it performed very, very well indeed. I've made a couple of changes to it since then. It's now Thursday, four days after the meeting. It was bottoming out, so I put some red springs on the front and some purple springs on the back to make it handle a bit better. Out of all the meetings that I've done in the last year, that was probably one of my favourites. I had some good results. Really, really pleased with it. Not bad for like a 50 quid banger. that I've almost rescued from the scrap heap and converted from a Nitro buggy into an electric buggy. Some more changes will be planned for the next meeting there, which is on Sunday the 11th of July. I'll be back out there then. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video and where I converted a Nitro buggy to electric. And I'll see you on trackside at some point soon. I'm racing again this Sunday at Ada, maybe with my electric buggy. Don't know whether to race this buggy or my Nitro buggy. I'll decide tonight when I book in. But otherwise, hopefully see you trackside soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.